Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Third Opinion podcast and radio show. You can watch us on YouTube. You can hear us on the radio, WCPI 91.3, the voice of the Highland Rim. You can like our Facebook page, I guess, if you like Facebook still. If you follow us on Twitter, I tweet occasionally. So
Very active.
I'm very active, as in I tweet maybe once every other month or two. I never tweet anything, but I'm always like on Twitter, liking and retweeting stuff. So today I have a guest with me. Hello, Mama.
Hello, Angel.
Welcome back. Thank you for being on the show again.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being Ethan's number 3 stand-in.
Was I the third man in line?
This time you were the first man in line.
Thank you.
But you are the third person to stand in for Ethan. Chronologically, it was Ethan, Trevor,
right?
Andrew, and then it was you to stand in for Ethan.
Oh, I thought I was a long-time stand-in. Wow, my bubbles burst.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. I understand.
Today I actually brought a topic this time with us,
Mhm.
which is never the case whenever Ethan's here. So maybe it is good that he's at the Childish Gambino concert. We'll talk about that tomorrow.
Yeah.
So me and you have been in the phone, to be more specific, the cell phone marketplace,
Yes.
the cell phone industry for quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it's been more smartphones than any other thing. But for you,
Yes.
it's been cell phones from the very beginning.
Very beginning.
Yeah.
Yep. I've always wanted a cell phone when I was little,
Mhm.
way beyond, just ever since I can remember. And I think that goes back to watching the Jetsons cartoon. You know how much I love cartoons. I'm
Yeah.
a big fan. And so the Jetsons cartoon, they had everything. And so I always wanted a Visiphone, which is, I think, what I named it. And, of course, that's technology now.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, that's
It's
old
crazy.
technology
It's
now.
funny that there's technology now, but like we never use it because it's not as convenient as it was portrayed.
Right. Not
Because
as
we
convenient.
have definitely multiple times. I've been like downtown or here at home, and you've been at Dr. Roan's downtown or like just somewhere else, and like we'll try a video call, and it is just not as good as
Yeah.
like it's advertised consistently. We tried a video call. I was at the Scout Camp Latimer, which is up in the mountains. They have Wi-Fi, but it's mountain Wi-Fi.
Right.
We tried a video call there so I could show you the problem with my glasses when my glasses broke. And like the quality was just not good. And there's no cell phone service, so having Wi-Fi was nice to communicate the problem.
Right.
So we still had to use audio calling.
Yeah. But anyway, it is possible. It's possible. I wonder if in larger cities it's more
probably
reliable.
is, or with more consistent Wi-Fi.
Yeah. Maybe
Perhaps.
I'll bet you anything that's part of it.
Yeah, so we could definitely do it like
Most
from here to your house, maybe, because we got we have the same Wi-Fi pretty much.
Yeah.
But I have found that wired connections, like Andrew and me, both use Discord, which is a gaming chat system, and they have it on your phone, which is wonderful, and it syncs across all clients. So I have it on my iPad, my phone, and my computer.
Wow.
And I can just like, me and him can be talking on Discord, and I can send him like a text message on Discord, and they sync simultaneously.
Wow.
Yeah. So like he'll send me a meme or like a joke or whatever, and then I'll get it on my phone, but I'll be talking to him on the desktop version.
That's nice.
So it's very nice. But we have done video calling. Like if he goes to the store or whatever and I'm still here at home, because he lives in Murfreesboro during school. If I am like here and then he goes to the 7-Eleven or whatever, like goes to get Taco Bell, he'll press one button and it'll say connect to voice via phone or whatever, and then he'll turn on the video camera, and so it kind of works that way. But if he wanted to receive video, it would be more intensive on his end. But we have done video connection on Skype, and we have done video on Discord, like desktop to desktop.
Okay.
Because it's a stable wire connection.
Yeah.
So
that does make a difference.
yeah, Ethernet is. I feel like for a very long time, even like whenever I'm older, approaching 100 or so, that like wire connections are still just going to be consistently better than non-wire connections. I feel like that's just the way it is.
It'll be
for
interesting
now,
to see.
Yeah.
But the very first phone that I had, the very first cell phone that I actually had to be wired into my car. I had a little 280ZX, little Nissan there.
Yeah.
And I had to actually take it. I lived in Cookeville then and worked for a particular radio station there. And I had the telephone. I had to go, and it took them all day. You had to make an appointment to have your cell phone wired in, and then you took it, and they actually put like a stand. I don't know if you've ever seen such.
Yeah, I saw a picture of him like before we started recording, but I also remember seeing like in Bewitched and like the color episodes.
Yeah.
So not as good as the black and white ones,
Yeah.
but like seeing in the colored episodes, like in one of their cars or whatever, like one of their big Buicks, one of those huge boat cars.
Yeah.
Like they had a car
Cell phone.
Yeah.
Wow.
Same thing with I Dream of Jeannie. But yeah, I remember seeing them.
You had to be very, very rich back then. In those days, you had to be very wealthy. I'm sure to have a cell phone, or, your boss, I guess, was paying for it. Major Nelson didn't pay for it, surely.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
But the first one I had, and then the first. This is funny. The first. You could talk, the first plan that I had, and I was one of the first around to have one because I'm aware of that in the area that I was in at the time.
In like the 80s? Late 70s,
No,
80s?
it would be 70s, 80s. Yeah, when I was 2 years old. No, I'm going to smack you.
Back in the 30s?
Yeah.
Whenever you had to drive
I'm
a
gonna kick
Lincoln
you,
K?
Angel. Anyway, it was in the early 90s.
Okay.
Very, very.
I didn't know they kept doing them that late. I always
Yeah.
associated that with like being like mid 70s to mid 80s technology.
Well, it perhaps did not get to this area.
Ooh, you
Until
might
then.
be right actually.
Yeah, because like I said, I was on the top of that. As soon as I found out that cell phone service was available,
Because there's no way for you to look it up. I just,
Right. No,
those
there
two
was no
just
internet,
like collided
right.
in my head just now. Like, oh,
right.
like how would you not?
It's a
How
different
would
time.
you have known that? Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And so as soon as I found out about it, then they advertised at the radio station I was at, and so I was like, "Oh, I'm on top of this." And so I went and made this appointment, and they wired the phone right into my car. And the very first plan I had, it was like $100 a month, and you got 30 minutes.
Oh, that's funny. That it's
30
still in minutes back
of
then.
talk
Yeah.
time. And that was it. No message, no texting.
I bet it sounded
nothing.
bad.
It was pretty bad. It was pretty rough.
So did they actually wire it in like on its own separate connection, or do they wire it in through the car's antenna?
I think it had to go through the car's antenna.
That would make the most sense.
Don't quote me on that.
That'd be
but I'm
hilarious if
pretty
you had to
sure
have
it
two
did.
separate antennas. That way you had one on
Oh,
the
I
left
think that
side
they-
and one.
I think
Maybe they
did
had another
an
one, but it
antenna.
might have been like a smaller one. Unless you
I
had,
think it was.
unless you had like two antennas, you can't really
Yeah.
see what I'm doing on the radio. But on the video, you have one on the left side of the car for your radio,
And
then
one
you
on the
have
right
one on the
side.
right side of the hood.
Uh-huh.
That'd be really funny.
I think they did have some sort of antenna. Now that you mention it,
That'd be really funny if they did.
and then it got a lot better. The technology got better, and they got those big old bag phones that you
Yeah,
could take.
yeah,
Remember,
yeah.
Papa had a big bag phone.
Yeah.
You were little then, itty bitty. And but he had this bag phone, and you could actually take your bag phone out of the car, and it was the size of probably a big lunchbox.
Now that's cool. When was this one?
Yeah, and you could take that out of the car, and they had a pretty good signal on them. They were a lot clearer than like mine. Mine actually attached, and I could take the handset off and then dial
Ooh,
from
yeah.
the actual car phone.
That's neato.
It's pretty groovy.
When'd you get that one?
The bag phone,
Yeah.
I didn't get a bag phone. I think I skipped the bag phone
Mm-hmm.
and went straight, just kept straight. And then when the flip phones came in,
Mm-hmm.
I think that was the next generation after. I may be way wrong on this
Mm-hmm.
because my cell phone history, well, since you've known me, which is all your life, 20 years, I've probably had 15 phones, would you say?
I'd say you've probably had 15 cell phones. And
Probably
I've
so.
probably seen the majority of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the old flip phones, they were pretty
quite,
solid.
They were quite prominent for a long time, like for a
Yeah.
surprising time. And we know someone when we both worked at the restaurant at Main Street Bakery. One of the older patrons would still had a flip phone, and this would have been 2015.
Yeah. They're hard to come by now.
Yeah, yeah. And I
You
think
can
it's
actually get them.
I think it's good for like youngsters, like pre-high school, middle school, whatever. They
Right.
have flip phones, just so it's good to call somebody.
Yeah.
But they probably don't need technology. They don't need.
Well, I put it off as long as I could. I
Yeah.
put off the technology part as far as getting a snap phone,
Mm-hmm.
and mine was an economical reason. I did not want to spend $100 a month on a phone. Because it was you kids were
That's a
little, and I didn't want to
lot.
spend that much money. Y'all needed milk and diapers. But I'm just kidding. But they were very expensive. When
Yeah.
phones first came out,
Yeah.
they were quite expensive.
So for flip phones, I think it would have gone like and mine is like. So wait. Oh, okay. Actually, hold on.
Okay.
When did you get your first self-contained cell phone? Like
Ooh.
not the bag phone. I'm
Uh-huh.
excluding the bag phone only because it's like a attachable, detachable thing. When did you have like the first? Not necessarily this
One that I could put in my
in
pocket,
your pocket
and take with me.
in your pocket, and like you had to charge it maybe.
Yeah, I remember it was probably a Motorola product, the best I remember.
Yeah.
And
The first cell phone actually wasn't Motorola.
yeah, I think the first one in my car was a Motorola. And on the stand and all that stuff, and it was a big old funky looking. Of course, you can't see, but you can in the podcast.
You can on YouTube.
Yeah.
What falls on YouTube, please? Third Opinion Media.
Awesome. Yeah, but it's yeah, and you can look that up too.
Yeah.
But it came around and I slick there. But anyway, I cannot remember the first actual.
Like self-contained.
Yeah, I just.
Did you
can't
ever have
remember.
one that like you had it and it's like a Nokia brick and like you had to
Yes.
pull out the antenna and like talk that way?
No, I never had one of those either.
Because I had one of them as like a junk phone. I'm sure I got
Uh-huh.
it from my dad. Probably.
Probably so.
Probably.
I think that
He-
is the case.
He always had a lot of like just junk technology just like laying around. I still have actually like his old desktop. I have it like sitting in the garage at the big house.
That's funny.
But yeah, let's real briefly. So we're into flip phones now. You had, best of my knowledge, and Cecilia, you may remember this. We have Cecilia in the Peanut Gallery. Thanks for being over there in the audience. You had 4 pink Razor phones
Oh,
that were consistently
bad.
trash.
They were trash.
They were Motorola, and it seems like for a long time Motorola like was on top, and then Samsung came around, Nokia came around, LG came around, more Chinese and Korean manufacturers, a couple American manufacturers came around, and Motorola just stopped doing well with phones. But it seems like
Weird.
around 2012, 13, and 14, they really picked back up, and now they're making consistently good smartphones again.
Are they?
They are.
See, well, the thing is that since I had the Razors, actually did me in. And the short battery life. Remember, Motorola was very known for
Horribly
the
short battery life, yeah.
Awful. And I'm pretty sure that was part of the part and parcel why I quit going with them. And of course, you know what 2 brands I've been with since then.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I'm consistently with them. I did it again.
Yeah.
I just can't help it. You
Yeah.
know, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
I mean, that's the same thing Ethan said. Me
Great
and him
battery
talked about
life, yeah.
smartphones podcast or 2 ago, and he said that he's always had a Samsung. There's no point in him changing.
Right.
And it goes to show because they're making like crazy new technology now. They're doing like hole-in-screen technology, where it's like the camera is underneath the display and you can't even see the camera on the phone.
Now, who has that? Do you have that on yours?
No. Mine is just the notch. Samsung is making that for their next phone.
Okay, somebody.
Yeah.
I was
The
thinking
Galaxy
that somebody.
10.
Maybe that's what
They've
we
been
were
doing
talking about.
Galaxy phones for 10 years, probably more than that now. So let's get into smartphones. The first smartphone you had wasn't.
It was not a flip. Now that I think about it, I
Yes.
believe it was just a brick.
So was it the LG Fascinate, or no?
I did have a
Samsung Fascinate, or was it the LG Touch? The LG Touch is the one where you had to flip open and it had a keyboard. But
Keyboard.
I wouldn't consider that a
yes.
smartphone.
No.
Only because its functionality was very limited. It was a touch screen phone.
I don't think it was a touch. I know it was not touch screen, but it did
Yes.
have a keyboard. I forgot
It
about
had,
the
had a
keyboard
flip up a
phones.
keyboard, and it had a very, very basic touch capabilities.
I loved it.
Notably,
I think I had that phone until it fell apart.
Notably, at the end of its life cycle, I do remember this. We were at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, and you thought you turned the.
Was that the phone?
That was the LG
Oh,
Touch.
just send you not rat me out on that.
I'm sorry.
Worst time.
Worst thing ever.
I promise I
That
not
entire
mean that.
trip, the phone was giving you just so much hassle, and that was at the end of the LG's lifespan, at the end of the Touch's lifespan. And then you get the Samsung Fascinate. You went through 3 of those. The Samsung phones, early smartphones, I think it's safe to say, unless you're getting like an Apple or something like that, even early Samsung, consistently trash phones. Like they're just not good phones. And Android for a while, it seems, right around the time when Google bought Motorola, it seems like Android was just garbage, which is why my first 3 smartphones were Apple phones. They were just, better. The software was consistently very good. Battery life was mediocre, but if you couldn't get better battery life on an Android phone. So I wonder when the switch happened for Android, like when they became better than iPhones.
Mm-hmm.
I think it might have been around the end of 2013, beginning of 2014, maybe.
I would go along with that.
Because they were just horrible phones. For a long time, they were just really bad phones.
I'm trying to think about how long I've actually been in the smart game.
I'd say probably around maybe 10 years now.
Probably so.
Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that sounds right.
That does.
Because I got my first phone, which was a Samsung flip phone in 2010, around August maybe. I don't know. I don't even think I still have it. But yeah, it seems like the technology's really just like blown up, and everybody has a smartphone, whether it's good or bad.
Well, let's see. You've been having smartphones what, about 8 years? Something along those lines.
Maybe I'm 20
it's
now.
When you were doing Boy Scouts, I wanted you to have a phone so you could.
Yeah, I had a flip phone. So I guess it would have been. Probably had a smartphone for about 6 years now, maybe. Maybe whenever the iPhone 5 came out. The iPhone 5, Cicely, look it up real fast, please. Did the iPhone 5 come out in 2014 or 2015? Maybe it was before that.
Peanut Gallery's handy.
Peanut Gallery is handy. I don't feel like Googling it. I mean, I could like way faster. 2012. Okay, so 2013. I've had one for. Yeah, I've had one for 5 years then. More than 5 years at this point.
I remember when you got your first Apple.
Yeah, I actually bought it from Andrew's sister. It was the iPhone 4S. Then I got the iPhone 5 from Andrew, and then I bought a refurbished iPhone 5S, and then I got a OnePlus 3T. So let's get into our most recent. With 12 minutes left, let's get into our most recent smartphone purchases and smartphone ownership. This is the part that I was really looking forward to. So we remember when I'll use the Samsung Fascinate as an example. Whenever you touch the screen, how it buzzed, and it was crazy how the phone knew what you were touching. I remember that just being like, "Whoa, that's wild!" Like you're touching a screen, and then everything knows where it's at. It knows where your finger is. We went through consistently a lot of bad tablets and bad smartphones to get to.
We sure did.
To get to the OnePlus 6T, which is my current smartphone. I haven't had a chance to talk about it before now on the podcast. I've had it for like 2 or 3 weeks now. And you have, what do you have?
I have the
Samsung Galaxy Note 9 or
Note 9.
S9?
Note 9.
It looks like
I've
a
got
Note. It's a big phone.
Yeah, it's a brick. We're back to the bricks.
Yeah.
One of the phones I had was a Juke. Do you remember
I
my
remember
little Juke?
It was
awesome. It was an MP3 player.
It was a better MP3 player than it was a phone.
Oh, it was fantastic. I love that phone. I hope I still have it somewhere.
What's funny is that it was like a great MP3 player. Wonderful MP3 player.
It would hold like 10,000 songs.
I love that they measured it in songs back then,
Maybe
not
not
in memory
10,000.
space.
I might.
No, it definitely could.
It held a lot of songs.
It could hold a bunch.
Yeah.
I think I actually ended up seeing how much megabyte space it would hold, and it would hold MP3s.
Oh,
and it would hold like 1,000 megabytes, probably like maybe 1 gigabyte. And for a phone's storage, for a little flip phone, that's very impressive.
Well, it wasn't even
it wasn't even flip. It was a slide. Yeah,
thing.
Like,
I think
don't
that's
have
when Kyocera. Do you remember them? Are they still in the?
I don't think
cell
they're
phone business?
Ooh, maybe they are.
I don't know.
I think I've heard something about Kyocera here soon.
But the competition used to be so wide, which I think is something. And now I feel like there are people, or there are companies who have sort of dropped out of it and maybe are focusing on something else, because you've got your big boys, your Apple.
You got your Apple. Apple's
and your Samsung.
You got Samsung, LG, you got Motorola.
And those are the big ones. Those are the big boys.
There's like a handful of them. Ones that people don't even talk about in the United States any are Xiaomi, which is a Chinese company, Huawei, which is a Chinese company.
Oh, yeah.
Recently, as of recent, OnePlus has been really killing it in the smartphone game.
Now, aren't those speakers, didn't they used to do, were they Yahweh? How do you pronounce it?
Huawei. Maybe they did. I don't really know. I've just been up to date on their smartphone stuff. Sophia had a Huawei. She did, but I don't think she liked it. What was wrong with it? She loved it? Oh, it was really expensive. They are getting cheaper, which is great.
Well, this is the first time I did this one. I've had a lot of financial obligations as of late this year. It was a very expensive year for some reason. And
it seems like everybody wanted the 2018, like, we're going to make so much money, everything's going to be great. And then it's just like consistently.
Anyway, and so when my phone went out, I just did not, and that was, October, a month ago. So.
You had that Galaxy S6 Edge for a while. And I'm
a year and a half. I had it for a year and a half.
I feel like a year and a half, 2 years.
I got it in January and then had it January. I had it almost 2 years.
Yeah.
Had it in
I
October.
almost had my OnePlus 3T, which is my smartphone for a while. Love that phone.
Yeah.
I had it for a really long time. I think about November 2016 sounds right. When me and Sophia got hers like a couple days after each other.
And I remember Christmas being involved somehow or something.
Perhaps.
I don't know. But anyway.
Yeah, so you actually had the first Galaxy. I remember that.
Did I really?
I think
See, I didn't
you and
remember
George both had the first Galaxy.
Wow.
First or second Galaxy. Because it was like the Samsung Fascinate, they had the Samsung J line, which they still have.
You know, you're right.
And then they had like 3 or 4 different smartphone lines, but like the Galaxy is the best one.
Did I go from like a 2 to a 6?
So you had the
Because if
Galaxy.
the phone never tore up, I kept it.
The best Samsung phone that you had, the first one that you had was the Samsung Galaxy S4, and that one was a beast. It was bad news. I think it was the first. It came out around the same time the iPhone 5 did, and it was the direct competitor to the iPhone 5.
Head to head, still are.
They still are. In some regards, the Samsungs are way better now. They have a lot more power. iPhones are underpowered, but they don't need enough power, or they don't need much power to run the software that they do. They don't have memory issues or software issues or space issues because their software is very low intense and low use.
Right. Well, see, this one now can hold a terabyte.
Yeah, potentially. So you have flash
SD
storage
card.
and you
I
have
flash storage.
an SD card slot. So you can hold a terabyte. My computer has 2 terabytes. If that's any metric to how crazy phones have gotten.
That is crazy. Yeah. And this one I think has built in 120.
128.
I think 128.
128, yeah. I am very glad that the standard now is 4 gigabytes of RAM minimum.
Yeah.
On your higher end, you're going to get 6, 8. Sometimes you're going to get 10 or 12. Those are some real intense phones.
Well, for storage on my 6 Edge that I had, I only had 36.
It only had 32, yeah. 32,
yeah.
And that's just like
not good because I would have to erase stuff.
Even for then, that's like not good
well,
because
it was just not quite 2 years ago.
Yeah.
2 years in January.
Well, I mean, so the OnePlus, the 3T came out around that same time. I remember us all like getting new phones around that same time.
When it rains, it pours.
When it rains, it pours.
But I was going to talk about the way that this one came up, and I've not decided if this one is a good plan or not. The phone is $1,200 and some odd dollars.
They are very expensive.
All right, I just didn't. Homie didn't want to play that game, and so I bought my last one. Remember, I bought the 6 Edge outright, and it was $1,000 by the time I walked.
Actually,
out the
no,
door.
it was $1,000. Yeah,
Time
it was
I walked
$1,000
out the door,
and it seems like after the first couple months, it was like, oh well, great. Here's a problem that I ran into, and then here's a problem that I ran into, and then eventually the phone just quit working.
Yeah,
and the 3T that I had for 2.5, nearly 3 years, never the first problem.
Wow.
So it really shows that like Samsung's manufacturer is like still being updated because that was also right before they had the whole Note 7 debacle, which was the batteries exploding.
Yeah.
What's funny
Did Linda have the 7?
She had the Note 5.
That's
and then
right.
she got the Note 6, I believe. But she had the same Note phone and nothing was wrong with it at all.
Never a problem. She loved that thing too.
Yeah, she did.
But this phone, though, I have chosen to lease this phone, and so that's something I have a feeling it was new to me.
Yeah,
it may not be new, new financing options, but it was new to me.
I've never heard of it before you mentioning it.
Okay, well so maybe that is something then.
And you're leasing it with AT&T? Yeah.
And so I'm leasing the phone, and I'm making payments, so to speak. I'm renting the phone, and of course, if anything happens to it, I'm obligated to pay for it.
Yeah.
But if nothing happens to it in October of next year, when I have it on my 1-year anniversary, I can trade it in for any new phone that I want.
Very interesting.
Which will be the 10, about the time the 10 comes out.
I am okay. So last 5 minutes of the show.
So I'm thinking that this, I'm paying, I think it's $42 a month to lease it.
That's not bad, considering that it's around.
And then I'm paying for service as well, though.
Well, even then.
So you're still looking at looking at a.
We'll say $80.
Okay, but it's okay. It's about $100.
Okay, for service and for the lease. Okay, so if it's $100, 100 times. So hold on, what's 1 times 12 is 12. So add a 0, 120. Add another 0, it's 1,200. So
yeah.
So 1,200, but you're getting service,
right?
And you're not keeping the phone.
Well, they base the payment of $42.15, something like that, $40-something dollars. They base the rental, rather the lease option, on a 2-year contract.
Okay.
So that's why. Otherwise, it would be 80 something.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's they do it on a 2-year, and so after I think at the end of 2 years, I think that I have the option of keeping this phone.
Very neat.
I'm
Very
not sure.
neat.
I've got a stack of
But
papers.
I feel like at the end of 2 years, we're going to want the new one.
but I know for a fact at the end of 1 year,
You're going to want the new.
I'm going to.
Okay.
Why not trade up?
Yeah. So
It's. I guess it would be akin to leasing a car, which I've never done, but
Really?
I'm not in the phone leasing business. No, I just always buy my cars.
yeah. So phone technology has,
Crazy.
even in just like the past 5 years.
And even the financing options. They want everybody to have a smartphone.
Yes.
I have a very extensive relationship with different phone brands that completely
Yeah.
left field phone brands.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like I had a Moto, I had a blue BLU.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that weird like
BLU.
e-cigarette brand making a smartphone.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting.
And then I had the Pixel.
And then the Pixel, and you have the Pixel right now. Yeah.
Are you enjoying it? The Pixel? Okay.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Thank you, Cecily. So it seems like phones in like even just the past 5 years, smartphones in the past 5 years have really just everything's gotten crazy. We're gotten to the point where it's like they're adding in cruise control to cars and they're adding in
Right.
power windows. It's like
Exactly.
they're only making them more of what already exists.
Mm-hmm.
The text exists, browsing the internet exists, calling exists. It seems like you have those three down. It's easy to make those three in a smartphone.
Mm-hmm.
You got touchscreen, you got charging,
Mm-hmm. Now, see, this is going to be perfect for me and a little bit more technology, I guess, when everybody gets on board. Because, as you know, I do not have a home computer.
Exactly.
I would not have a home computer just
Yeah.
because. And because I don't want to. Anyway, and so, but there are some things that I do have to do on the computer. And that's where the Peanut Gallery comes in for me. She does, she helps me out considerably with all that.
Yeah.
And, but anyway, some of them will not, some of the stuff for the store and stuff, I can't do on what it calls a mobile, a mobile phone.
Yeah.
And so they have to be
Yeah.
done on a land.
Yeah,
unit.
which is like I'm great that my phone has since I've had OnePlus phone, so it's been about 3 years, around 3 years. My phone has consistently been an extension of my person and what I do, and an extension of my computer.
Wow.
So if I need to do something on my computer and I'm not home, I can do almost anything on my phone.
Yeah.
Solely because I know how to, and the phone can do it.
Now, this is where I would like to have a class on this. The only thing
yeah,
I've done is
there's-
answer it and iris it and a few things.
Yeah.
But see, that goes back to where I don't like to get on the computer. I would like a paper book, please,
Yeah.
so I can read it.
See, I have I have 3 or 4 paper books, but like, I don't want someone to easily take the paper book. Whereas, like, if someone wants to get into my phone, it's a lot of steps.
Yeah. Well, it's a generational thing. You guys are.
I guess, yeah.
It's silly. You know how I still keep dates and notes? I write everything down.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
And so
I do too, but like,
you
I
keep
keep it
on
in my
your
app.
phone.
Well, also because like it's easy for me to just go to my computer and like type on my keyboards a note, and then have the note on my phone also or my iPad.
Yeah. See, and it's a hassle for me to locate something to get on, except for my third arm here. I have my third arm with me,
Yeah.
which is what I call it. It's his name, third arm. Sad.
We're at 29 minutes.
All right.
Do you have time to go for another 30? Maybe another 15?
Sure.
All right. So, in the last minute, I'll say thank you so much for watching watching and listening. Excuse me, for listening to this little radio tidbit here. 30 minutes, normal episode. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, and if you subscribe to the YouTube channel, you can listen to the rest of this on YouTube. So, thank you so much for listening. Okay, now for everybody who's on YouTube, you guys are the cool. You're all the cool kids.
the cool kids.
Because we have we could talk like another 15 minutes or so.
Easily.
So, what has been your favorite thing about having this new phone? And this is a very new phone.
Oh, it's brand stinking new.
Yeah.
My favorite thing so far has been the iris detection.
So,
But like I said, I have not gotten, I haven't done anything. Thank you.
yeah, you're welcome.
And I
I
have
have
not
so
done.
many. I have so many microfiber cloths in my house.
Oh, they're great. I'll give you some more too.
Thank you. I actually do need
Dr.
one
Bone.
once I get the microabrasion in my right lens fixed. I want one that will sit in a case in my room by itself and will not touch anything.
The only thing is sometimes it doesn't work.
So sometimes it doesn't work.
It's very rare, though. If I would learn how to put it at the proper
We
distance,
might just need like a smartphone afternoon for
Oh, I
you,
would love
for
that.
you, Nanny, and Bet. I think that would be
Because-
very because Bet even today was like, "How do I get to the Facebook?" And I'm
the
like,
Facebook.
"I'm like, I'll show you."
But yeah, I could use one because much like my last
Yeah.
phone, the 6 Edge, it had a lot of features that I never.
never used, never once used.
No, it's
yeah,
only because I didn't know how.
Yeah.
It was ignorance on my part.
yeah.
And this phone will be exactly the same way.
Until you learn,
Mm-hmm.
we have a smartphone afternoon, an afternoon where we like update technology
Mm-hmm.
because since the last time we did this, I think you had the S4, the Galaxy S4. It was like, so here's how you can do this, and if you actually just look down with your eyeballs, you can have
Right.
this thing scroll automatically for you.
Let's see, I can't recall what that's called. Smart Eye or something like that.
I don't think
It
they
was
have
called
that
something.
anymore. Solely because
It's-
like it just didn't really work that well.
Not really. I used it when I had an app, like if I was somewhere
Like
that I
just-
was going to read a book or something,
Yeah,
and it
yeah.
was just a little something on Kindle or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
I would use it, and it did work. But if somebody said your name and you looked off or something, your whole
It would like just go
with
crazy up
me,
or down. Yeah,
right,
yeah.
with me, it was hit or miss.
Well, I feel like that's. I guess they never miss, huh? Cecilia, have you heard that meme, the hit or miss meme? I know you haven't, Mama. But every time I hear someone say hit or miss, I think of the song. It's a trash song, but it's like hit or miss. I guess they never miss, huh? you had a boyfriend. I bet he doesn't kiss you. It's such a stupid song. But every time I hear hit or miss, I think about that. Could you please hand me my water, Cecilia? It's next to my computer. Thank you. My watch? What watch? You want it? I can't give it to you yet. I'll buy you a nice watch for your. Now you're in the video. I've captured your soul.
oh no.
So the iris detection.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's very weird that they always call so Samsung Now. People in the smartphone industry usually agree that Samsung is the Apple of Android phones.
Mm-hmm.
But they, because of the price and because of the just okay software, even now their software is still just okay, which is why I have shied away from Samsung phones. Traditionally,
You know how to work. You know how to work technology. You know how to work apps. You
Yeah.
know how to work everything. So that
Yeah.
would be very important to you.
yeah. So that's why I shied away from Samsung phones for the most part. And I forgot what I was going to say already.
Oh, I'm sorry, I threw you off.
No, that's all right.
Technology. We were talking about technology. You shied away from the Samsung.
I'm not going to remember, which means
Okay.
it was going to the end of it. Anyway, so the iris detection, that's what it was. Samsung being the Apple of Android phones is a very appropriate naming convention, a very appropriate title, because they consistently ignore the user base, do their own thing, and sell exorbitantly priced phones. However, unlike Apple, they sell cheap, low-end phones. Julia, who is in our venturing crew, she has a Samsung J, and it's like a just okay smartphone. It's a smartphone. It's no flagship like the OnePlus 6T or like the Pixel or like the OnePlus 3T was, like the Pixel was, or like the Note 9. And that's actually where Samsung has really made their killing, is in the lower-end phones.
Really?
Yes. And that's how they have been able to do so well for so long. Whereas other brands like OnePlus, like the new Google Pixel lineup, only make was that a fist pump? Only make
Excuse me.
quote unquote premium phones. So
The allergy
OnePlus-
season is horrible here, isn't it? I know it's
it
real
is
bad.
really, really bad. Andrew had me cackling before we recorded this. So my voice was like really, really scratchier than it is now. But speaking of which, OnePlus has made, I believe, 8 or 9 phones in the lineup now, and they have only made those 9 phones. They are for a little bit they were an exclusive brand, but now you can partner.
Is that
You
a
get AT&T.
Chinese company exclusively? I
One-
remember
yeah.
when you wanted to
Yeah, yeah.
get the very first one.
Yeah, the very first OnePlus.
Yeah.
They are
You didn't get to get it, did you? Best I remember, you
because
were
you had to
shot
be
down.
invited, and I was shot down because it was like $350, which is
Which could have been done.
it
you
could
were
have
just
been
shot
done,
down
but
on
it's
it.
like it was still
We know why.
it was still pricey, and it's a perfectly reasonable thing because it was pricey for a brand that seemingly comes out of nowhere. And that was what everyone's issue was initially. But whenever they spent the less than $400 on a great phone, it was like all of that was immediately gone. Yeah. And then OnePlus, they made the OnePlus X, I think. OnePlus 2, OnePlus X, maybe. I don't know. They made the 3, and then they made the 3T. They made the 3, like, they released the 3, like, in March, April of 2016. And then 2016, November, they released the 3T, which was my phone. I bought that a few months after that, maybe. A month or two after that. Sophia bought it also. And then they made, next year, they made the OnePlus 5. And they're really good phones. They made OnePlus 5, and they had a design change November of 2017 with the OnePlus 5T. And then earlier this year, I believe in April, May, probably sooner than that, actually. February, March, perhaps. They made the OnePlus 6. And I'm sure you saw OnePlus 6 news. Every once in a while, I know you did. The OnePlus 6 is like their first really big smartphone. Everybody was going crazy over the OnePlus 6.
And y'all had been on this for years already.
I had been on it for years already.
Yeah,
Yeah, me and Sophia have, and you guys have heard about it and just known about it. Smart
Well,
for people.
you got an invitation for the first one. I do recall that.
They crazy blew up. Everybody knows who OnePlus is now because of the 6 only a few months ago. They made a phone that was equally as good as the OnePlus, or the Motorola phones, the LG phones, Huawei and Xiaomi, and Samsung, more notably. It was equally as good and cost half the price. And that has always been their mantra, their thing that they do. And then a few months later, they made the 6T. And I decided to get the 6T because it was a special offer. I could trade in my old phone and get this one.
Right.
And
you got a good amount off, I remember. But
Half
they're
off.
doing it, the way they did it, though, I thought was ingenious.
It is
because
ingenious.
they didn't actually
It is a good
give
business
you
idea.
Very good business idea.
And I saw
for
it
their
as soon as it
product.
happened, and I am okay with it happening because I can
Yeah.
actually,
They
at
take
the end
off
of
a
that,
certain amount of your bill each
Exactly.
month, don't they?
yeah, I think about $12 maybe, 12.
Or did they offer you the
$13.
full
At no point was there a full money offer. It was a trade in towards your bill. So I paid $298
Okay.
or $289 actually
Okay.
because it was tax went towards the actual bill and not this. So
Excellent.
it was like $330 to get a service activation and
Phone.
the new phone 16.
Golly, that is reasonable.
Very reasonable. And I sent in my phone, and that $300 that it's worth, $301 or $298, whatever it is, give or take a few bucko, goes off of my bill every month. Which
so they are
is
going to give you. Okay, so they just take. So how long are they going to do this $12 rebate?
I don't know if it's 18 or 24 months. And if it's 2 years, and if they make a 90, which I might actually end up doing, I said whenever I get to 3T, if they ever make a 6T, I'm going to buy it. And I did end up buying it. If they make a 9T in 3 years, 4 years,
Wonderful way.
I might just end up buying that.
Yeah, it's a great way to build a customer base. That's
It really
a wonderful
is.
business plan.
And the OnePlus phones, I'll continue to talk about them. They're great. I've never had any issue with the OnePlus phone. I've had 2, sure. But like the one phone I had for 2 years, 2.5 years almost, never the first issue. The battery acted like it was brand new, which is hard to find for a smartphone battery. It still had a headphone jack. I hadn't messed up the screen any. I dropped it maybe once or twice on the aluminum body,
right.
but it's anodized aluminum. Like the phone was still just fine, and I dropped it from like head height too. So yeah, I think that's a testament to just how much care they put into their product.
Well, and everybody knows that these are so overpriced.
They are. They
I
are.
mean, they really are.
Samsung phones, Apple phones, the occasional other flagship. The Pixel 3, people are so disappointed with the Pixel 3 XL because the phone has 4 gigabytes of RAM.
Really?
4. My phone has 8 and costs half. More than half.
See, so it is doable.
It is doable, but it's like this phone is made by Google, and they're charging more on the Pixel 3s and the Pixel 3 XL. They're charging for software that will eventually come. Huh?
$799. Look at them right now. $799.
Yeah. See how much a Pixel 3 XL is?
$800.
$800. This phone, if you want to buy it, maxed out options is $500 or $630, and that is with 256 gigabytes of space.
Wow.
8 gigabytes of RAM. So I mean, it makes more sense to buy a phone. And I understand that people don't want an in-screen fingerprint that I just used. What a wonderful feature. That's actually what.
That's what
sold
you
me on
were
it.
telling me.
That's
yeah.
actually what sold on me the most.
Yeah.
What's funny is like
That's
people
great.
aren't really as fascinated now that I have it. I think it's probably because I have it, but it's like the fingerprint sensor is
That's
inside
cool.
the phone screen.
That's cool. That's
I don't
clever.
think
That's
anybody
smart.
heard me.
Yeah. Say it
Uh,
again.
The fingerprint sensor. Look at this. Let me show it for the camera. You can't really see it that well. Is in the phone screen. For other phones, it's on the back. For some phones, it's on the front at its own little hump at the bottom. It's in the display. So I mean, and you can get, or you can still, you can't buy from OnePlus directly a 6 anymore because they're selling the 6T. But you can buy a maxed out option 6T for $550, 256 gigabytes of storage, and then 8 gigabytes of RAM for $550. And like,
Wonder what this one's got.
they don't break. Probably 8. Probably 8 and 128, perhaps. That
I know it's
sounds like
128, but I'm not sure about the gate. Never thought about it.
the RAM.
See, again, the technology is not that important to me. The memory was, because on my last one, that
You would
that got on
have
my
memory
nerves.
issues.
I
Yeah.
did. Yeah.
OnePlus, my last one, the 3T had 6, and I had 64 gigabytes of space, which at the end of its life cycle, I've ran into issues solely because I had like a couple thousands of pictures, and like tons of videos and tons of
Movies.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, no, I'm just consistently happy with the OnePlus with the 6T so far. I've had it
Yeah.
for less than a month, but the one problem that everyone talks about and that people run into all the time, look at the bottom, see if you notice anything.
Ooh, lots of holes there.
Lots of holes. It's a glass sandwich. Glass on the back, internals, and the glass on the front. It's it's a glass phone. Yours is too. Do you notice anything else? Look at the bottom of yours. You may need your glasses.
Yeah.
If you notice it, let me know. Here you go. Here's mine, and here's yours.
All right. Speaker.
They both have speakers. They both have a USB Type-C charger, which I'm a big fan of. What else
I'm
is not
liking
there?
that. You don't have a pen. Let's see. You don't have a headphone. Oh,
There's
no
not a
headset?
headphone jack on the phone.
Wow.
The OnePlus 6, which is why it blew up so much, at the beginning of 2018, still had a headphone jack.
Oh.
When the Galaxies, the iPhones, LG, some Motorola's, some other Huawei's perhaps, some of them didn't have it. The Xiaomi's didn't have it. No headphone jack in sight.
Wow.
You have to use USB, or no, you have to use the USB audio, or you have to use Bluetooth audio. No headphone
So
jack.
if you're out mowing the yard, you're not going to be able to take your phone with you as a.
Unless you have Bluetooth earbuds, Bluetooth headphones,
Yeah.
which people like Sophia and Cecilia, most of the time they use their Sony headphones. They have really nice Sony headphones. They use like their Bluetooth audio for the Sony headphones, right? And both of their phones have a headphone jack. Whereas I consistently use studio audio equipment, and they all require a headphone jack. So I cannot use. I'm glad we're not on radio. Or I cannot use any of my audio equipment with my $600 phone.
Golly. Now that is a bummer.
So I have to use, which I'm okay with. I've used one time. I've used the dongle, which is a funny word. First of all,
That's hilarious.
it's a headphone jack that plugs into the USB port. I've used it one time, and I was like, yeah, this is. I don't really.
Was it too
Care.
much trouble?
No, because it plugs directly into the port, and then you plug your your audio jack into the port.
Power source? Okay.
So there's no problem there. But it's like, I didn't realize how infrequently I use this. And for me to get rid of the functionality was,
You're okay with that?
I'm fine with it. Yeah.
See, now that would
That's,
be an
but that
issue.
is everyone's biggest problem with this phone and other phones in 2018. No headphone jack. Samsung will never get rid of the headphone jack.
No. Let's see here.
Yeah. And I feel like Apple will never bring back the headphone jack. And
I
other,
didn't realize
And
that.
other brands won't bring back the headphone jack. That's just the way it is.
Wow.
So that's what everyone's biggest harp on this is. And they're saying, oh, OnePlus pulled a 180. When it's like they're really just following the trend of the time. And they said that in order for them to fit the in-display fingerprint scanner and to fit the speaker grills and to fit the bigger battery, this has a 3,700 milliamp hour battery. And I can consistently get around 9-10 hours of on-screen time.
Wow.
Yeah, which is a lot. That's a lot.
Throw it.
And even with dash charging, it takes me an hour to charge my phone from 0 to empty.
Uh-huh.
And then I have a full charge. Like, I'll charge before I leave for the radio station at 7 a.m. I get back, I still have like 50% battery when I get home at like 1.
Mm-hmm.
Or if I'm pulling it all day,
Mm-hmm.
my phone will be at 30% after 12 hours of having my phone.
Mm-hmm.
We actually went to Murfreesboro. I worked in the morning at the radio station, and we went to Murfreesboro to film stuff. And like, I charged my phone before I left the house to go to the radio station, and then I got back home later that night, like 10 o'clock, 10:30, 11. I don't know when it was, and I had like 20% left on my phone.
Wow.
After using it all day. So I feel like the increase in battery, and the no headphone jack, and the in-display fingerprint scanner.
You feel like it all equals out.
I feel like the universe is even. I feel like the OnePlus 6T is an even phone. There's an even trade.
Mm-hmm.
What does gripe me is that only one speaker grill actually produces sound, and it's because the second one is just drilled holes for aesthetic reasons. I wish they hadn't done that, only because like I don't like things that are phony. Like someone has flame stickers on their car. If it looks nice, sure. But like, do you need flame stickers on your car, or like fake exhaust panels, or like fake louvers? I'm like, do you really need that on your car? The same thing applies for me with technology, and the same thing applies with me on phones.
Maybe they're going for the female market as well. I don't know. But see, aesthetically, that would be
Aesthetically,
obviously, I've got the pink
aesthetically,
one.
the phone is beautiful. It's like the back dual cameras, the flash.
Do you feel like that's part of the culture where that phone was made? Is them
In China?
evening it up?
No,
Okay.
that is a worldwide industry thing, not
Oh.
a Chinese thing. Because there are some phones, like the Xiaomi phones and the Huawei phones, which the bottom and the top, aesthetically, it's a asymmetrical mishmash sometimes.
Really?
You'll find that. It's quite consistent, actually, with Chinese manufacturers. So this was a Western market move, I feel like.
Wow.
Or it was just we want it to look nicer. We want it to have very
Interesting.
even. We want to have the one speaker, the plug, and one more speaker.
That does nothing.
Even though it does nothing, it looks nice, and I understand where they're coming from, but I feel like I would much rather have... It's that speaker right there. It's that one.
That does
I would
nothing.
much rather have...
I'm perplexed now.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. That's an old
I
school...
don't like that.
That's an old school Samsung and Apple move, and I don't really know why they would do that. I'll give you a real quick... hold on. Here's ABC. Crank up my volume. The speakers get loud also. That's max volume.
That
Okay,
is nice
so here
volume.
is... That's that speaker.
Wow.
I'm covering up all the sound.
Okay.
That one is still open.
Okay.
Let me turn my screen off.
Nothing. Wow.
Yeah. Here's the other one. That's all the sound.
Wow.
Yeah, even though there's still... you can't really see it here, but like... It is the one on the right. Yeah. So I
Now,
feel like...
that's very
It
interesting.
is very odd, and I know other companies have done it, and other companies have not done it. And I feel like it's just, for aesthetic reasons.
unnecessary. If they want
It
my
is.
vote.
It is.
Nobody
it is
asked
unnecessary.
me, but-
I personally would not have done that.
Yeah.
But they are going for like a beautiful design for this phone. I mean, first of all, come on, look at the teardrop notch display. Like, and I showed you that display whenever we had family dinner tonight. Like how like you can't even tell the screen's on with a full brightness on a full
Yeah.
black display.
That is pretty cool.
I mean, your phone does that, but it's like
I
the,
don't know how to make it do that.
the teardrop notch is like 100% a design choice. So they were going for like crazy aesthetics. But you still have 8 gigabytes of RAM. You still have 128 gigabytes of storage. You still have crazy fast software that gets consistently good updates. You still have all this great stuff, but you lose the headphone jack and you have a useless speaker on the bottom in place of it. If you have the good with the bad, I feel like the good definitely outweighs the bad on this phone.
Well, I'm going to be interested in the the class.
When you do it
That you
sometime,
have.
when you do it fun. It took me like a couple hours probably to figure out what everyone would need. Like I don't know what would improve your daily life, really.
I just like to know what the phone does.
This could be a quick one too, perhaps.
It could be.
But yeah,
I
so
don't know. They really are. They advertise them quite a bit.
they got a lot. So I'll say this: the Samsung phones, they got a lot of software in them. Probably why it's like, oh yeah, you have an S Pen also. I completely forgot that you have an S
Yeah.
Pen. So the pen actually is an electronic pen that uses Bluetooth or infrared, maybe one or the other. I think it's Bluetooth, and it charges inside of the phone.
Yes, because
Crazy, huh?
I have had it say your pin needs to charge or something along those lines.
Yeah, but
and I was like, uh-oh, what's going on here?
yeah, but it
Where do
turns
I
in a
take?
few
Where do I,
seconds.
yeah,
What
where do I
think is-
plug my pin in?
What I think is hilarious is that so Apple made a smart pin also for iPhones and iPads that takes like 30 minutes to charge it from zero to full. This one takes like a few seconds to charge it from 0 to full.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it lasts for ages.
Also, check this out. If I wanted to set it, I think it takes a picture. If I'm not mistaken, I can push this button.
Oh, that's
I think.
cool.
Yeah, I
That is
think.
very cool.
Hopefully, you'll get some responses that will tell me how I need to use my phone
It's an exciting
in a
number, I'm
positive
sure.
way. But I think it does. I think that this is an
No, it totally does.
automatic.
And if it doesn't, like with the software by itself, you can program it too. It's pretty easy.
Yeah. Well, it's easy for you. I have no idea what I'm doing. But it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's cool. I completely forgot that the notes have S Pens.
Yeah, I can't consistently get my notes to come up.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do that either. So
Yeah.
I need some schooling.
For the last 10 minutes, we're at 51 minutes. Can you believe it? We could
Wow.
probably talk about phones all day. For the last few minutes, let me ask you a question while I find this Twitter user's page. He's a Chinese guy, and he's in the smartphone industry, like, big time. He knows, like, insider stuff, but no one knows who he really is.
Ah.
So that's how he's been able to, like, keep all this tech. Like,
I know
all
who
this
it
info.
is. It's the Stig. Am I right?
I mean, I don't know if this thing's not Chinese. Who knows?
You ever heard him speak?
No, but it's funny, like, to see that, like, the actual who's underneath the mask, and it's like Italian or English race car drivers. It's
Right.
like, oh, it's Alexander or Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah.
That's very funny. So, I saw a really funny.
I saw a guy with
I
a
saw a really
shirt
funny
on
tweet.
somewhere. We might have been together. I don't remember. And he said, "I am the Stig." Is what?
Oh yeah,
part of
we're
his
at
shirt.
Applebee's or something like
Oh
in,
gosh,
in
that
Florida.
was hilarious. Yeah, it was fun.
What is this guy's name? Let me ask you a question, and then while you answer this, I'm gonna try to find this guy's
All
Twitter
right.
user, his Twitter handle. I'll find it here in a few seconds. What do you want out of your next phone?
You know, I honestly could not answer that. I want to be able to use it, I guess, for a phone.
Yeah.
Don't you feel like that sometimes the phone, like with the Juke, they kind of forgot. Of course, that was years ago. They kind of
Yeah.
forgot it was a phone.
No,
'cause it was an
they
MP3
still do
player.
that.
Yeah.
Probably not so much because you never hear about bad phones anymore. You only hear about great phones. People don't care about trash phones anymore.
Yeah.
Huh? Well, even then, no one
Yeah.
really knew what that was.
Yeah. But I would want it to be a telephone.
You still want the telephone feature.
I still want the telephone feature.
I feel like that is consistently what functionality people like you and like me want, and Cecilia and Sophia and Nanny and Bepet.
we want it as a phone.
We still want the phone function, which I know a handful of people that never use their phone calling feature, and a handful of people that use it daily.
Well, this is my source. You know, that's why, again, it's named the third arm,
Yeah.
because that's how I get in touch with the world. For example, we were just in a large chain grocery store, and I could not find something I was looking. Sophia's going to make us some dip tonight,
Yeah.
or tomorrow sometime. Anyway, and I couldn't find the soft melty cheese, you know,
Yeah.
so cheese in a box, or the cheese type product. Anyway, I couldn't find it, and we'd walked all around the store.
Yeah.
Macy's had, and so finally I just called them. I picked up my phone and I said, "Hey Google, call Kroger." And what's that? Anyway,
It's fine.
we're in a very limited area, but that's the only grocery store we have, just about. But anyway, and so I called and was standing there in the grocery store
Yeah.
instead of marching around aimlessly
For who
for
knows how
that much longer.
Yeah.
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 So anyway, so again, I use my phone
Yeah.
for a phone.
Yeah. Whereas I think
But
definitely me and
I enjoy
Andrew, we would have like, I don't know if Kroger has the app like as good as Walmart does. The Walmart app is like, I'm not even kidding, a map. If
Kroger has a map now also.
All right, good deal.
Yeah,
I'll
it tells
probably
you
use
what
that.
aisle
The thing
everything's
is, like,
in.
I always go to the same like two sections. Like I know everything is in those sections.
Yeah.
But like the map is in Walmart is ridiculous. It
Is
is
it?
so crazy. You
Well, I
can,
won't
like,
be
literally-
participating in that.
I know you won't.
Let's see, it's been a year, 2 years,
Very nice.
or a year. I think it was a year in August since I had graced their doors.
So I
Still mad
I
at
think you can
Walmart.
have it like to where it tracks your actual motion inside the store if you connect to the Wi-Fi. So it's like only in the Wi-Fi. Once you're inside the store.
I don't know. That's Big Brother. Which I know Google is, hello.
We,
And
we could talk
I'm here at
about we could
Kroger.
talk about Big Brother for ages because
Oh, my
I'm like
goodness, yeah. But seriously, I mean, they know where we're at all the time. whoever they is, they know who we are. Well, something I think I could do without is it's been useful. Let's say 1 out of 10 times.
What would you get rid of with the phone?
All right, 1 out of 10 times I think this has been useful, and it's because it offered me an ice cream coupon or something. I don't know. But it said stuff in your area. And that's because I have my location.
Would you get rid of the GPS? So would you? So if you cannot get rid of the GPS because your phone service would not work.
Right.
But would you get rid of the acute location tracking?
I potentially would.
You can actually, in your phone, turn it to limited or off.
Yeah, I know.
Which won't completely turn it off.
Right.
Because it still has to have GPS to figure out where you are and location of towers and Wi-Fi.
Yep.
But you can actually limit it a whole bunch. I have mine active set to high, and it takes no battery performance off. Like it's still a consistently good.
Mine's on high
battery
as well, I think.
Oh, ran out of storage space. The card's full.
Welcome back. I can't believe that we ran out of space.
That's so funny. It's kind of what we're talking about.
That's called burning the midnight oil. So, I don't remember what we're talking about. That's fine. Okay, so what would you want out of your next smartphone? To close
I would like for it to
the
be a
podcast.
phone.
Yeah.
And also something else that I've found that I have enjoyed, and I'm sure my last phone had it too, but I enjoy being able to sync it with, or not, sync it probably is not the right word. You would know it more than me. But I like for it to be able, my last phone I could not access, I would say, hey Google, something like that, and it would say, look, this one just lit right up.
Yeah.
Anyway, I really am enjoying that feature. And when I learn how to use it more, I'll even know.
Oh, being able to use the Google Assistant.
Google Assistant.
Yeah.
I think Bixby is this one's name. I don't know.
It has Bixby on there.
But I don't know. I'm not familiar with Bixby. Nor is it set up.
It's not good.
Is it not?
It's not good.
Well, it's not set up because I haven't taken the time. Again, I don't have a paper manual to read. Don't set it up?
No, because it's just not good. It's not good.
Okay.
It's like trying to use Cortana on a Windows computer.
Oh, that never worked. Gotcha.
Yeah. No, Cortana's the new one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that came out like 2013. I say new.
Okay, well, we've got it at the store, but we don't have
That's
any
Alexa.
speakers. No,
Is
we
it
don't have any
Cortana?
speakers. Yeah, Cortana.
Yeah,
I'm
but like
familiar
no,
with Cortana.
like you said, it never worked. Oh, I get it.
There we go.
Yeah, no, it's too much hassle to bother setting something up that will effectively be useless in a year or two.
Okay.
Yeah, there's really
Of course,
no
now,
point.
October
Nobody
2019.
likes Bixby. Even Samsung people aren't really too big into Bixby.
Really?
It's just,
But
that's just
but
not
I
good.
do like the Google
So you like
feature.
having the Google Assistant feature?
Google
I actually
I
have
do like
mine
that.
set towards limited,
Mhm.
only because I find it like being aggravating where I'm here in the house, like saying, "Okay, Google,"
Right.
and then it accesses it on my phone. I'm like, "No, I wanted the Google Home."
Right. Well,
So-
now I do have that problem. Every room in the house
Has the
when
Google
I say,
a
"Hey
Google Home
Google,"
Mini? Yeah.
right, everything in the house
Yeah, it's
beeps,
exactly on your phone.
lights
again.
up. But now the only thing, and I'm sure that there's a way around this. I would like for it to be voice recognizable to where it just comes
Does your
on.
voice?
Yeah, it just
For
does
your-
my voice.
okay, so for your-
because, and this being the reason
Yeah.
why, when I say, "Hey Google,"
Yeah.
it does that.
Yeah.
But I still have to unlock my phone for it to,
They
in
do
order for it to
make
do.
that. They do have voice recognition.
So
and
that's what I would.
But the
need.
voice recognition only works for your phone. Like it won't do it for the Google Homes.
Right.
Cecilia, yes.
And I'm thinking surely this one does too.
Mine does
But
too.
see, even though I've got it locked, when I say, "Hey Google,"
Yeah, mine
it-
does too. But I have
she
it.
won't. The
have it
phone
set
won't do
off.
anything because it's locked.
Yeah, I have mine set to where it's off
Yeah.
because I find it to be more of a frustration. But I will be like, whenever I'm home,
Mm-hmm.
I'll open up the Home app. I just go to the Home app directly now.
Uh-huh.
I press the Home app
On your
and
phone?
Yeah, on my phone. I press the voice button. I'm like, turn on all the lights.
Uh-huh.
I'm home.
Yeah.
So I end up just doing that instead.
Uh-huh. So I am liking that. That's something that's new to me.
Yeah.
It was probably on my last phone, but I don't know. But I am enjoying that.
Yeah.
It may not have been since it was a 6 and this is a 9.
I don't know. The 3T had it.
Uh-huh.
Maybe that was a into 2016 phone. So
Hmm.
maybe. What other fun stuff would you add to the phone? Would you add to your next phone?
Well,
Don't even think about adding onto that phone
mm-hmm.
in your
No.
perfect phone.
Okay, I think that I would like for it to be thinner.
Yeah.
Of course, that goes back. We're making this. I told you about the Juke. Itty bitty. That was
Yeah.
fine, but it wasn't smart. Didn't do anything.
Yeah.
But I really did enjoy the size because I could put it literally anywhere.
Yeah.
And so the bigger they get, the more droppable, in my opinion, that they
Yes,
become.
Definitely an
Because
issue.
they don't. Some of the jeans and stuff that I wear, the pockets are smaller.
Women's
than
pockets
my phone.
are criminal.
Yeah.
It should be illegal.
They're smaller than my phone.
Yeah.
You know, and so I forget about whatever, and then I drop my phone. Of course, I've got this, Gorilla stuff on it.
Yeah.
But anyway, because I want to be able to trade it in October of
Yeah.
next year.
You'd rather be
But-
safe than sorry.
Yeah, but I would like a thinner.
Yeah.
I don't even know if that's possible. And then I am very interested
In the folding stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely is. I like that flex display, whatever they want to call it. I think it's called flex display. I'm definitely interested to see where that goes because a Chinese manufacturer announced their own doing of it. Right around Samsung announced their own doing of it.
Well, I remember you showing me the the meeting a few years ago.
Keynote, yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking
Yeah.
it was a TED Talks, but it wasn't. TED didn't talk about that.
I think it was a CES actually.
I think so. Yeah.
I think it was CES 2012, perhaps.
I think so.
But it's been a while. It's
Yeah.
been a while, like just announcing it,
Yeah.
and obviously that was all like not real.
Right. And
But,
I
like-
remember I was excited. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
that's the phone I
Okay,
want.
some
That's the phone I
some
want.
stuff. I actually looked at that stuff recently. A lot of that stuff is like just integrated in phones and stuff now, like OLED. That thing where I showed you true black on a phone.
Right.
That exists now. We have that.
Uh-huh.
And you have it on TVs, and you have these huge 4K displays that are like, it's like you're actually there, but it's like true black, and you have like
Beautiful.
bigger batteries. You have universal charging for the most part. Everything uses a USB Type C now, which is wonderful. What aggravates me is that the PlayStation 4 controller, Xbox controller, the Vive controllers all use micro USB. I hate it. I hate micro USB. No one has ever liked micro USB. And if you do, you're lying.
Is that it's oddly shaped?
Yeah.
Okay.
Whereas
Because
used-
mine is the oval now.
Yeah, Type
so
C.
I've got the
Yep,
new
Type
C.
C's been around for a while, but it's like was never really utilized.
Huh. This is the first one I've had.
Yeah.
Type C.
The last one that I had, I'm so glad that it had Type C, but it's because with the OnePlus 3, they made their own proprietary charging system called Dash Charging. They changed the name later to be Charging Quickly. They're going to fix the name eventually. But it's like
Very clever.
they
Charging quickly.
it's the whole sting was a full day's power in half an hour.
Wow. I
Yeah.
Like that.
And pretty true testament.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, Samsung was thinking a little bit because they inside the package, inside the box, which everybody probably knows by now. But anyway, inside the box, it had a little unit that you put in here, and that you can still use your USB, your old USB from your other Samsung or whatever.
oh, you know.
Yeah,
I don't
so
know
it
why
just
you would
came
ever
with
want
a
to do
little
that.
unit.
I don't think anyone's doing
see,
that.
for example, I was in the car coming back from Tullahoma or somewhere,
Yeah.
and I do not have a car charger for this.
Oh,
All
okay.
right, so I stopped at one of the stores that you can't really, that you run into all the time.
A gas station or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. And it had, there's one like every 3 miles, the
Yeah.
Dollar Generals.
Yeah.
Anyway, and so I stopped there, and they wanted $18 for a car charger. And those notoriously
Are
last
bad.
you 2 weeks.
And
I was not
they
going to give
s-
$18 for
they
a car charger.
Still aren't good. You can order really good ones, which I did.
Uh-huh.
And I've had that thing for years.
Yeah.
And they still in gas stations are just not good. They're still bad quality for
Yeah,
a crazy
so-
exorbitant price.
So I was very glad. Of course, all my other car chargers are torn up
Yeah.
because they are $5 car chargers.
Yeah.
I got $5 worth of use out of them, maybe, and that was it.
Yeah.
But I see, for me now, personally, that was a beneficial little unit.
Okay.
So there you go.
Yeah.
So I like that.
What other fun stuff would you want on like your next phone? I personally,
fun.
I would want this would have to come with I think it's called graphite technology, where it's like different technology for battery. I want to charge my phone on Sunday and not have to charge it until next Sunday.
Yeah.
Having a crazy ridiculous battery, I don't even want it to be like that big. I want it to just like last a long time. The battery I think the biggest battery you can get on a smartphone now, well, a flagship at least, I think it's like 41 or 4200 milliamp hours. For reference, mine's 37, and consistently it's around 3500 for a good phone.
Okay.
But for the iPhones, you get 2700.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would still want like crazy battery life.
Do you remember one of my old Motorola's? You could actually buy that big, huge battery pack.
Oh
And I bought the extra battery pack because
Yeah.
my phone wouldn't last 6 hours.
I remember that.
That was-
I remember that.
Way back in the day.
Yeah. I don't know what that thing was. I think it was like data write error. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. So either we've had some good audio or some bad audio. So
All
we're
right.
gonna figure that out. So thank you very much for listening to this entire hour-long or so thing. Thank you for being on the show, Mama.
Thank you, Angel. I loved it.
Thanks for being here.
I'm glad to be the third man on the pole. First man tonight.
Me and Ethan are recording actually tomorrow morning, so we're going to have an extra podcast ready for later on that week.
Awesome. Awesome.
So thanks for listening.
And now, a word from this program's sponsor.
Somewhere Liquors is located in the Plaza Shopping Center across from Citizens Tri-County Bank. Their address is 1100 Smithville Highway, Suite 137 in McMinnville, Tennessee. Their business hours are 8 to 10 Monday through Thursday, 8 to 11 on Friday and Saturday, and 10 to 6 on Sunday. Their phone number is area code 931-304-8222. They feature a walk-in beer cave and have a wide selection of bourbons, whiskeys, vodkas, tequilas, and more. McMinnville's first liquor store is Somewhere Liquors.